And the mental health services for veterans, they're barely minimal. And if you're lucky, you might get a few minutes with a mental health worker every few months. Just enough time to adjust or refill a prescription bottle. A lot of soldiers, they're in chronic pain, combined with PTSD and other mental health conditions. So, you have veterans knocking back opioid painkillers, anti-anxiety drugs, antidepressants, which can be addictive, and often a lethal combination, especially with the dosages being shelled out to veterans. And really, exactly how do addictive drugs treat mental illness? And opioid painkiller prescriptions for veterans, they've risen by 287% between 1999 and 2012. And accidental overdoses among veterans, it's nearly twice that of the US population. And this statistic, it's discounting those veterans who aren't enrolled with the VA. So the number is going to be far higher. So someone somewhere is making a lot of money out of these drugs. And we can guess who. And in terms of applying for disability, it can take years to process. And many applications are unsuccessful. And as you can imagine, suicide attempts, drug addiction, relationship breakdowns, homelessness, they're all common during this period, when soldiers, they're trying desperately to find some sense of self, to reintegrate back into society. And there's a time gap after a soldier arrives home and before he receives his first treatment. It can be anywhere from up to 6 months or more. And early intervention, it's key to recovery and stability. And treatment, it needs to go beyond prescribing lethal and addictive drugs. You have men, they're not willing to, or they're not ready mentally to leave the service and return to society. So when they get back, they fall apart, then face a black hole of addiction, of blame and abandonment. In therapy, it needs to be comprehensive and specific to that individual. But this is very rarely the case. Many veterans, they wait years before they finally seek help. And PTSD, by its very nature, is delayed in onset. And by this stage, it can be too late. And they're afflicted with chronic conditions. They can't function in society. They can't hold down employment, or they're living on the streets. They've been sent into hell, spat out and disregarded by their country. And the blame has been put squarely on their shoulders for their own suffering. And they're wrestling with guilt and shame, crushed under the weight of a stigma that prevents them from moving forward with their lives. And the betrayal is real, and they can't connect. They're in pain mentally and physically, being fed copious amounts of narcotics so they'll stay pacified. And they can't admit their condition because they'll receive judgment that may jeopardize their future. And then we wonder why these men don't reach out. The answer is obvious. And in terms of treatment, cognitive therapy, prolonged exposure therapy, along with group therapy, it's very beneficial to veterans. And it's a painful and grueling process. And I know because I've done it myself. But desensitizing yourself to memories and using flooding techniques, essentially flooding your mind with images of the trauma you experienced, it can help reduce symptoms. In group therapy, it creates a network of support and a safe place for men to share and work through their pain. And being around other men who understand your trauma and who aren't going to point the finger at you can help you build your trust again. They can help to make sense of it all, and it helps in regulating and identifying your emotions and your triggers, so a soldier can finally move forward with his life. And patriotism, it can't just stop with waving the flag and sending men into the front lines as cannon fodder. On the battlefield, the motto is never leave a brother behind. And society seems to forget these men never leave the battlefield, unless society takes accountability and helps these men. Anyway, that's all I wanted to discuss tonight, but I know I have some subscribers that are veterans, and I welcome your comments on this video, and encourage you to share your experience. It's a subject that needs far more focus. And other men that have suffered PTSD, feel free to share. It's time to lift the lid on male suffering. I'm tired of men's pain being disregarded. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time, and as always, keep on trucking. Thank you.